Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very important concept for you, that is the concept of hyperrealism or hyperreality. It was given by Jean Baudrillard. First things first, the pronunciation. It's a French name, so the pronunciation is not Jean or John, it's Jean. Okay, so Jean Baudrillard. Now, when we talk about literary theory, Jean Baudrillard and postmodernism, these are two important things. So postmodernism forms a part of literary theory, as I'm sure you guys know. And in postmodernist theorists, one name of Jean Baudrillard is very important because he has given you some really very important concepts, even from the exam point of view as well. Jean Baudrillard, he talked about this concept of hyperreality in his work Simulacra and Simulation. So I'll first start with an example. Now imagine how your friends or, how they post on social media, how you see their lives on social media. I'm sure you know that how these friends, how these celebrities, they only post pictures of, vacations or parties and happy moments. So you do not really get to see their bad days or their struggles or the bad phases that they are going through, right? The negativities in their life, that is something that you do not get to see. Over time, you might start to feel like that everyone else is living this perfect kind of a life, and you start to compare your real life to these idealized versions that are being presented to you. This is hyperreality. So what social media has done here is that it has created this mixed up world where the lines between the real life and this perfect online life, that line, that is blurred, and that makes it hard to know what is truly real. I'll give you one more example from our dear old Bollywood. You have seen those Karan Johar movies, right? These days, if you talk about those Korean dramas, which are very, very popular amongst the youth, especially the girls, if you see these Korean dramas also for that matter, or Karan Johar movies for that matter, you will see that they present a kind of a world where everything seems to be perfect, right? So you have these beautiful people, very, very beautiful people. If you talk about the Korean dramas, or if you talk about Karan Johar's movies as well, you'll see these highly beautiful people and these beautiful clothes that they wear and these beautiful surroundings, who are leading these amazing lives and they have these exciting events going on. So, for example, the character of Shania, played by Alia Bhatt in Student of the Year, she has all those high-end bags and everything, right? Now, over time, you might start to feel like that this world that is being presented to you, that is more real or more desirable than your own life. This, again, is what is hyperreality. What is happening here? These boundaries between the real world and the world created by media, by technology, they become so mixed up that it's hard to tell what is truly real anymore. Now, again, talking about hyperreality in technical terms, first, very, very key point of hyperreality is that it blurs the distinction between reality and fiction, something which I have been telling you constantly, that it becomes really very difficult to distinguish what is real from what is not. This line between reality and fantasy, that becomes blurred. So in hyperreality, what we perceive as real is actually a mix of reality and fiction that's often driven by media, by advertising and technology. Coming to the second point of hyperreality is actually simulations. Now, Baudrillard, he argued that in modern world, simulations, they have replaced reality. Now, simulations is actually another very important term, important concept by Baudrillard in postmodernism. I'll put it very, very briefly for you here. Simulations would mean copies or representations of things. Okay? It refers to the use of the representations of reality that become more real than the actual reality that they are supposed to depict. So simulations, they are not mere copies or imitations. ऐसे नहीं है कि सिर्फ copy कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ imitate कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे. No, they actually create a new version of reality that can influence and even replace the original. Okay, I repeat, see, these simulations, they are representations or imitations of the real world, but they are designed in such a way that they seem more real or more appealing than the reality itself, okay? So over time, these representations, they take on a life of their own. They create a new reality that people interact with and believe in. And this new reality, this can overshadow the actual reality. So when these simulations, they become more influential or more believable than the original reality, they contribute to a state of hyper reality. Okay. So both these constantly, both of these things, they are connected, as you can see. What happens in hyper reality? It becomes challenging to distinguish between what is real and what is simulated, what is not real, right? One very, very good example of this, the simulations and in turn hyper reality, is actually the virtual reality. See, recently I had gone to a theme park, and in that theme park I had this experience of wearing that kind of a device on your eyes, which रहता है ना पहन के, and then you have to sit. Okay, you sit in a seat, you just sit there, and then you are actually made to feel like that you are experiencing being in the space. That's the experience that I had. जैसे मतलब मैं space में हूँ, and when I was in that theme park, I was actually sitting there and I was feeling like wearing that device. I actually felt like that I'm fighting in the space, I'm jumping from the sky, and then I'm diving and I'm riding a spaceship, all those blasts and all that is happening, that the city is under threat, that I'm the one who's protecting it, and that I'm flying in the sky, that I'm out of the earth in the space fighting those aliens. So that was the kind of experience that I had in that theme park, which was made possible. How? Through virtual reality, through the technology that created this entire digital environment that I could interact with as if it was real. So these virtual worlds, they feel incredibly immersive. They feel so convincing. And that actually blurs the line between reality and simulation, okay? So, like I was talking about the second point of hyperreality simulations, where Baudrillard, he had argued that in a modern world, simulations have replaced reality. And these simulations, they are not just reflections of reality, but they have become a reality of their own. Okay? Do remember this example of the virtual reality as an example of hyperreality. Okay? Because, again, see, these virtual reality games, these experiences, they create environments that feel real to the users, even though they are entirely computer generated. ऐसा लगता है जैसे आप real में experience कर रहे हो वो सब, okay? And in fact, if you have seen this movie, there's this Hollywood movie titled Ready Player One, and it came, I think, in the year 2018. That's actually based on this virtual reality world stuff. Okay, just watch that movie. To give you one more example of hyperreality, one very, very, very famous example at that is a theme park. Like Disneyland, places like Disneyland, they are just perfect examples of hyperreality. Why? Because they create a completely constructed world that feels real to the visitors. Even though, again, it's all an elaborate fantasy, it's not real, it feels real to the visitors. So again, to summarize this concept of hyperreality given by Jean Baudrillard, it describes a world where reality and simulations, they blend together, making it difficult to distinguish between what is real, what is constructed, okay, that illusion. Remember, this is just one of the important concepts that falls under this larger topic of postmodernism and literary theory. That is just one block, okay, one module that has been gaining importance in the recent years in the previous year papers. If you have just gone through the past year papers for UGC NET, you would know what I mean. Like something which has been gaining a lot of importance in the recent years. I talk about all of these things and so much more in my online course. You can visit my website, theankitajain.com, where I've compiled all these important theorists and their important concepts, which are extremely important from the exam point of view. You'll all find them in just one place, which will make it super easy for you to understand. And in case you want to know about the more details, you can do that on my website. You can also call me if you have any doubts. Also, if you just want to buy the entire package, you can do that. Or if you just want to buy the literary theory module, you can do even that. You do not have to buy the entire one. If you just want the literary theory part, can do that as well. Okay, you will find all the details in the description box below. I'll end this video here, and if you liked it, then do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. See you soon the next time.